Tuesday, April 28th. Thank you, Peggy, for the last-minute shuffling around for the rooms. Appreciate it. In attendance, we have Andrew Delory, John Fuller, Kevin Higgins, and soon-to-be member Cecil Newcomb, who will be sitting up here with us. Also outside, we have our 501c3. So I'd like to call the meeting to order, and first up will be public speak. If there's anyone who would like to speak, Peggy?
No hands raised?
No public speak? Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just bring something up, well,
Yes.
public speak, and I'm not a member yet.
That's okay, public speak.
I would like to see the board consider meeting 2 days a month. The way it's going, this thing will never be completed while we're alive. And
I'm more
I
optimistic.
think two meetings a month might expedite things and get things moving, and we can keep it moving, as opposed to when, by the time the end of the next meeting comes around, I've forgotten everything we talked about the previous meeting.
Right. No, I think that's certainly something we can discuss, especially with a couple of new members, so we'll bring it up during our meeting and see what we can do.
Just to confirm, Kevin, on this subject, zooming in does, if I zoom in,
Yes.
it's considered in attendance?
Yes.
Correct, good.
But do me a favor, if you're zooming in and you've got a copy of the,
It's Brian's dog, Willie.
if you're zooming in and you've already gotten a copy of the agenda, if you need like images, like if there's something that we're going to be discussing, if you need images, ask, I'll get them to you, so, because it's so hard to like try to have you see
Right.
it on the Zoom.
Thank you.
Just make sure that you've got whatever materials you need prior to, so you can look, we're all looking at the same stuff,
Great,
so.
good
Okay.
idea. Thank you.
Before I move on, I would just like to mention that I just received a letter from Keith Arnold, who's thanking us and thanking our committee, and we'd like to thank him as well for being a member of our committee through all our construction phase. He is stepping down from the position. His term was technically ending in June, so at this point in time, we have two members or two people that would like to be part of our committee. They just have to go through the selectman phase, Cecil Newcomb, and also Alan Chase, who both would like to become members, and I think that they're pending their selectman interview. They'll be on board. We haven't seen Dave live for a couple of meetings, but.
And they won't let me run again.
And I've been told I'm a short timer as well.
Yeah.
But I am going to approach the board just to see if they'll allow you to stay on until at least we get these two memorials that are in process, come to fruition.
Molly rules with an iron fist.
Oh, trust me, I know that.
I'll bring us some chocolate chip cookies.
All right, with that being said, I'd like to move into the agenda, update the group on the latest information in regards to the Korean War, bronze plate, and granite block. Nothing new on the granite block. The granite block has been ordered and is in process. Once it arrives, hopefully we'll be able to get the bronze plate finalized so Crosby Monuments can take a look at the size of that. Well, we already know what the size is, but we'll be able to get the angle of the front, the top, and everything in place. Which brings us to the bronze plate. As everyone knows through emails that I've been sending out, we were getting the runaround from the Postal Service in regards to a copyright release on the image, because the image of the chosen reservoir with the Marines coming out was a copyrighted image. And so Janet at Crosby Monuments spent quite a bit of time trying to get that release done. And she was forwarded to a couple of different locations, and I believe the last location was to a library somewhere in the Southwest.
New Mexico, right.
New Mexico. And So we, at that point, I thought, I don't know if we're ever gonna see a release on that. So I approached Dan Joy, a local artist in town, and as you've all seen some of the images, he's certainly capable of recreating that image as well. The day he, literally, the day he gave me these images to look at, to come up with some ideas, we got the release from New Mexico. So we do have that image to our availability, if we want to use it. However, as I was talking with Dan Joy, and his family was, obviously, they're all veterans. Cy, his uncle, was even on the police department as well. I kind of like the idea of having Dan possibly continue with his thoughts about creating something unique and have it on that bronze plate, because that way it'll be here forever. And as John mentioned, Dan did all the drawings at Hearth and Kettle on each of the booths. However, the Hearth and Kettle's not around anymore. It got leveled, and all those paintings went with it as well. So it would be kind of nice to be able to memorialize and immortalize Dan and his artist ability at the park by possibly creating an image that we can utilize that will be the same but a little bit different. And the thought, and I know we've mentioned it before, this is the image of the Korean War Memorial in Washington. Perhaps we can give this image to Dan, and between this and the image of the Chosin Reservoir, possibly he could come up with something for us to use.
Did I see those?
Oh, absolutely.
Didn't you send them email?
Yeah, I
He
did.
did, but I couldn't open it.
Oh,
Right. Oh, all right, John.
so just to explain, I know John's looking at the pictures now. I explained to Dan what we were looking for, and I explained that the bronze plate was going to have the Chosin Reservoir in the middle with the on the periphery, some of the Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, Army. And he, in his ability, took a few of those drawings and kind of created his own montage of pictures. But I think we've got those outside images, we've got the helicopter, Tom's got all those images and ready to go. All we're really looking for is the image of the Marines coming out of Chosin. Now, whether it's, in a V formation as in Washington, or whether it's
Not sure about
coming,
the chopper.
marching up out of the reservoir, as they are in the image that we got from New Mexico or from the post office. Somewhere along the line, hopefully we'll come up with a unique drawing ourselves that we could say is ours and ours only. We're not borrowing anybody, we're not taking anybody else's images. And again, as I said before, more or less immortalizing Dan and having his artwork in the park forever. So,
And he is, it's a family tradition to be, his grandfather was Vernon Smith, who also has a large local reputation. I think it's very appropriate that we use his art.
yeah. So at this point, I think I would like to entertain a motion that we approach Dan Joy, come up with some unique piece of artwork, have that presented, and possibly at a more, as opposed to making it next month's meeting, possibly we could have a meeting a little bit sooner, where we can make a choice as to that plaque, and we can, the drawing, and we can get that in motion. Because the block is already either, it may even be here. Brian, do you know if that block is at Tom's shop yet or not?
I don't. I'm not sure if it is. I just know it's on order and delivery was expected, because we were going over trying to figure out how to just put the names in the loop. I'm not sure.
So moved on your motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Okay, and it was seconded, oh, actually, you're not a member yet, so
I'll second.
second.
It's okay, Cecil.
Let me just get it all in here.
Yeah. Be official.
Second. All those in favor signify.
How about some discussion?
Oh, yes, let's have some discussion.
Okay. I wholeheartedly support having Dan Joy present his stuff. He's, as you said, a local person. His family was well-known in Orleans. He's an accomplished artist as far as I'm concerned. And there's a couple of those preliminary ones that have the same idea as the postage stamp, and that's, the idea is important, not the exact copy.
Yeah.
And I would strongly urge us to vote to have Dan present something. That's my comment for now.
Are you making a motion?
Yeah,
He's
well,
made the motion.
oh,
This
that
is
was his
discussion.
comment.
I would just concur with John's comments,
So to carry out the conversation or the
discussion.
discussion, possibly I could have Dan Joy bring those images to a meeting as yet to be determined. Bring them here, and I'm sure if I know Dan, he loves to draw, he may have a couple of different interpretations, so.
So
possibly-
these are preliminary, not you?
Yeah, no, these were just ideas, because,
Concepts.
exactly, because at the time when I talked to Dan, I did not, or we had not gotten the clearance for those images. So I explained to him what we were looking for, and I think that was kind of carried out in the image here, walking out, and also where he's arm in arm with, or he has the soldiers
Yeah.
coming out. He kind of carried that thought out to make it unique.
I like the brotherhood.
I do too.
This particular one, I think, has merit. I personally don't believe we need military gear in it, like helicopters and tanks and stuff. This is what's important for a memorial. You know, I'd even go with this one without the helicopter there. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Can any,
Or one very similar to it.
Brian, can you see this?
I can.
Yeah, it's the, Brian, did you get a copy of all the pictures when I sent them out?
Let's see, I don't have those, I don't think I have the ones in your hand, but I do have,
Did you see it?
the drawing of the chopper, the MASH tent, I have that.
Yeah.
They seem to overwhelm the people in it,
Right.
the tank and the big helicopter.
Too much machinery, not
Yeah.
enough human interest.
Yeah, and the reason why going back to the original idea of them coming, the soldiers coming out of the Chosen, it's not a glorious picture, it's not one, it's very somber, where they're walking out, and some of them are looking down, and the lead soldier is looking back at his fellow soldiers and fellow Marines, and shows the camaraderie, so I like that as well, so. Again, I concur with John, I do like that, it's unique.
And it's also, this is a memorial. It's a memorial to them, and that, to me, more personifies something memorial than military equipment.
Correct.
Or
Yeah, we don't need
honoring
cannons
veterans, not
firing,
not
and,
machine.
he does a nice job with it, but, we don't really need guns blaring and things like that, because it is a memorial. Okay, so I'm going to ask Dan if he can give us a more concise or boil it down to an image, possibly a conglomeration of these, and ask him to present at our next meeting, which is, for now, to be determined.
So you're thinking of having a meeting before the next regular meeting?
Well, let's see where I can go with Dan.
Sure.
I gotta talk to him first.
That would be ideal.
Find out more.
So let's vote on this motion.
Yeah.
Okay. So, carrying out the motion was to go with the image of the soldiers. John, during discussion, is in favor of definitely going with someone local, who has local ties. All those in favor signify by saying aye through roll call. Andrew Delore,
I, Andrew Delore.
John
Aye,
Fuller,
John Ford.
Kevin Higgins, aye. And I know.
You know, it's a perfect time to have a meeting after the Memorial Day thing, because we'll all be there,
Yeah.
as long as you
You
post
You mean the
it.
same day, or you mean a couple days later?
Well,
No,
The regular meeting is the following day.
yeah, if you look at Memorial Day, it's on the 25th. The 26th would be our next meeting, so. I mean, I was kind of thinking of earmarking that for a discussion with Tom Blute in regards to the Vietnam.
As well.
as
ideas.
well, yeah, we
So-
could do it as well.
And that way, we're not mired down by any discussions about any services that are coming up for you know, we can discuss, obviously, how Memorial Day went and any changes that we may want to make.
Well, if Dan comes up something we like, we can vote on that at that meeting as one of the agenda items.
And it might not be a bad idea to ask Tom to be here as well, because if he comes up with an idea, Tom can say he can work with it, so, okay.
Kevin?
Yes,
One request, it's kind of a strong one, would be whatever, if Chase, Tom, I'd like to have them kind of accelerate this so that we could have actually, doesn't have to be something that's final voted on, but good draft mock-ups or ideas, because we would like, and Tom offered to do this, we'd like to put them on display for June 6th. And so, you know, so Tom had offered to do a mock-up on an easel board, so whatever these designs can be in draft, we want to show it. We need
Well-
some important time to do it.
yeah, and I think that would work, because if we could have some drawings by the 26th, June 6th is the following week. If we approve any drawings that Dan provides that night, we can make copies of those drawings, and then Tom could work with them with the collage on the outside edges.
Yeah, excellent.
So we can, and hopefully get that rolling. If I'm not mistaken, I think Tom said, well, the sequence of events, once we choose a final design for a bronze plate, he's gonna provide those images to the bronze plate company. They're gonna create a mock-up, and that mock-up is gonna come to us for the final blessing. And then, if I'm not mistaken, Brian, unless you heard differently, he said it would be about 6 weeks from the date that they would approve the bronze plate before it would be in.
Yeah, and then the names get engraved at the same time, but yes. So, yeah, any of these drafts, mock-up ideas, I mean, people want to see it, and it's the perfect event to show it, even in draft, because people have been waiting to see this for a while, so that would be great.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I'll work with Tom. We can possibly even, you know, provided that the weather is good on June 6th, I might be able to make a full-scale mock-up out of some heavy-duty cardboard. I can get cardboard from the appliance place, Crane Appliance, get some full-scale mock-up and, you know, paint it, tape it up, and just so there's something there. And then maybe we could have some images on some easels on either side, so people kind of, they can actually see what the monument will look like.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, any other discussion on the Korean War Memorial and the bronze plate? Nothing, hearing nothing, I'll move on to the next item. Discussion of the names brought forward by the 501c3 research. Additional names not associated with DD 214s, and the resident status. Where do we stand on that, Brian? You said you were able to, and I don't mean to ignore you folks.
No,
I know
no.
that I know that you
No,
folks have done a lot of research and found a lot of names and associated a lot of names of the ones that we were missing or didn't have definitive 214s or their war affiliation.
Okay, do you want me to, I'll pick it up if you'd like, so,
Yep.
since, hi Cecil, since he wasn't there, I think Cecil was there last time, but now that you're in the chair. What we did was, we were able to forge a connection with the archivist at the Mass Military Records, and we literally had him pull all the records. We had the names of all the ones from the old plaques, but basically he pulled all the DD 214s against an Excel sheet where everyone identified as Orleans. And so the good news is we found a lot more veterans to put on these monuments. But at the last meeting, I presented to you and I distributed out. There were, if you remember, there were 35 names that were questionable that we decided to do needed a little more research. So I chipped away at it, and I wanted to come back to you with how that stood. So these were 35 names that came back as either they couldn't find any records, or they were from other towns, and so we went to sort that out. And then obviously from those 35 names, we couldn't tell at first whether they were from Vietnam or Korea. We had no idea. So chipping away at the list of 35, which I had sent to you, I can come back and at least report to you of the 35, here's what we've ascertained. And so my suggestion is, of the 35, we have 2 additional names for the Korea Memorial and 2 additional names for the Vietnam Memorial. And I'll tell you who they are, they were on that list if you want to hear it. So we want to add David Tellier and Kimball Coombs Jr., who are clearly Vietnam veterans from Orleans. And we want to add Oliver Coffin and Alan Wilcox to the Korea Monument. The 5th person that we may want to add, and I'm going to leave this either to you with a phone call perhaps, the 5th name is, that I can't eliminate yet or affirm, is a gentleman named Douglas Bohannon. I have not spoken to him, I think Kevin has, but I just haven't ascertained whether he was from Brewster or Orleans.
Orleans.
When he went into service. So otherwise, he would be Vietnam, but I just haven't determined, or been able to determine which town he's from.
Well, I called Doug and I asked him, I said, where did you live? And he says, I lived in Orleans in 2 places, off of Lake Drive and then off of Harbor Hill. And he said that's the only places he's ever lived. So unless somebody knows anything else that's diametrically different than from the horse's mouth, I'm not quite sure why the DD 214 doesn't show Orleans, why it would show Brewster, I don't know. But
I know.
he definitely was from Orleans.
Okay,
We should
so I'm
add,
going
we should
to
add him.
Yeah.
What
Okay, well,
about Dory Klimchuk?
Yeah, there's a couple other names out there that are definitely Orleans residents, been their Orleans residents their whole lives, like Dory Klimchuk.
Dora Faye Klimchuk.
Dora Faye.
I think he should be added to
There's a
the
pile
Korean.
in Korea.
All right.
hold on. Let me, okay, so let me go backwards. So Doug Bohannon, we will add, I'm gonna suggest we add him to the Vietnam Memorial names.
Yep.
Mhm.
The ones, let me go over the rest of the list. So, besides the specific ones you're mentioning, so the rest of them kind of laid out as follows. There were, of the 35, 10 of them were either duplicates or there was a spelling error, and we basically found them, they were already on the monument list. So the good news is 10 of them went away, that we already have them covered.
Okay.
2 of the names were already on bricks in the park. So my presumption is that's where they belong, and we'll leave it at that. Specifically not from Orleans, there are 2, 4, 6, 8. There were 11 of them were specifically not, identified as specifically not from Orleans. And then there are, all right, so Bohannon we covered, so we found him, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 others where there are just no records found through the archivist's office in Massachusetts. Hence, I have nowhere to go. I mean, even though I've looked, we've done outside research on, obituaries, newspapers, can't find them.
Brian, what are the names?
The net result of that is we don't know even which theater they serve, because there's no record.
What are the names, Brian?
Okay, hold on.
See someone, yeah, pretty good knowledge of who's who here.
Donald, do you mind if I just read them? I'll read
Yes.
those ones.
Go ahead.
Please.
And if you have the list in front of you, you can check it off.
Yeah, if I had printed it.
Donald Allen Clifton. Jim Howard. Ernest M. Libby. David J. Maza.
Mazer.
He's
He's in
William B.
Orleans.
Moore, and Richard N. Smith.
That's Dickie Smith, but he was my sergeant on the police department. He's lived in Orleans his whole life, so, and he was in the Korea Army.
Good question.
Richard N. Smith was definitely Orleans resident. I'm just not 100% sure on the service. But David Meza was definitely an Orleans resident, South Orleans,
Yep.
And was
Okay,
it
hold on.
Korea or Vietnam, do you know?
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Wow, okay, so we're getting close.
I would concur.
Yeah,
I mean, it
so,
doesn't
Wait,
matter
which
what
one?
service,
Sorry.
what branch they were in for the memorial.
right.
No.
Just
All right, so wait, let me back up. So Richard N. Smith, we're saying he was Korea, Orleans.
Correct.
Okay, and David Mazza,
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
okay, any others or no?
What was the other name?
Jimmy Howes,
William, okay, Mazza, William B. Moore I mentioned.
Bill Moore.
Bill Moore.
He's Korea.
He's Korea.
Which one, I'm sorry?
Bill Moore was Korea. He was on an aircraft carrier, several aircraft carriers, actually.
Okay, it's, I mean, you understand, it's when this comes back, it's hard for us to, it becomes hard to know where to go, because when no records come up,
Right.
it's,
Well,
I don't have the ability as an individual to do any more deep dive than having at least somebody pull DD 214, so if you're as you're vouching for that, that's fine with me, I'm glad we can chip away at it.
We know these people.
Yeah.
Well, we know
Okay.
that they went to school with these guys.
yeah, so what I'll do, Brian, is I'll go back into your list and I'll check off the ones, unfortunately, I didn't print the list here or have it in front of me, so, but obviously I do have it.
No, that's fine, I'm looking at it as we're speaking. So, let's see, so we've got David Mazza, Vietnam, Orleans, William Moore, Orleans, Korea. We have Richard Smith. That's good, so we got 3. Bohannon. Okay, so of the ones that had no records found, only Donald Allen Clifton and Jim Howard are unknowns to us.
Neither of those names sound familiar.
Jimmy Howard lived up on Monument Road, Townsend Road, up toward Ruggles.
Do you know what branch, or?
But I don't know if he was here from Orleans, that's it.
What's that?
Do you know when he would have been in service? Which Korea or Vietnam?
I don't.
All right.
What about Dory Klimchuk?
Yeah, Dory Klimchuk, he was Korea. He was a fighter pilot. Matter of fact, he drove his truck like a
Wait a
fighter
minute.
plane.
He killed his sister.
Oh, wait, why did that? Oh, okay, here's what here's what my notes say when I looked him up. My notes came up in my research that he died in 1951 before Korea.
He died.
No, he died a
No.
couple years ago.
Somebody forgot to tell him.
Which one? I have, actually, there's it came up as the same name, Dorify and Alexander Klimchuk. And the records came, this is what happens when you're doing research. It came back that Dorify's middle name was Alexander, so I thought I was dealing with the same person. And when I looked him up, it indicated that he died in 1951.
Yeah.
No,
All right, so give me this again. So with Dorify Klimchuk,
yeah. Korea.
Korea, and he lived in South Orleans,
And
as much as I know.
KLI,
He owned half of it.
not
Okay.
He
KLE.
owned half of it?
His parents did.
all right, great.
I think his wife's name's mentioned on one of the committees here.
And you got Bill, Bill Moore was Korea.
Yeah, now I have Bill, yes, now I've got Bill Moore. And we're gonna say Doug O'Hannon was from Orleans too.
Does that mean you just reconciled the whole list?
Yeah, well, the only thing okay, thank you for that. So Klimchuk, that was confusing because it came back that his middle name was almost matched up to the, I guess, the father.
Right.
And I found the father's obituary, and I found his obituary, so I thought, okay, well, thank you for that.
Was that obituary 1951?
Yeah, I looked at his gravestone from 1951, and
Well, it has to
so,
be his father.
That was his father.
you know, legacy.com or whatever it was. All right, so hold on one second. So we've kind of cleared those that had no records, I think except for one. So that leaves my list of those where the records did come up. So I mentioned to you there was a list of, there were 10.
For
These
years,
are the ones
Dory
where the
Klimchuk
records
was the
came back
fence
and
viewer.
it was clear they were not from Orleans. So I was not
Yeah,
looking
see,
to tell you to add those to the memorials. It's pretty, we've always kind of laid out this pattern that said you've got to be from, your record has to be from Orleans, and you show they were not.
right, but like we were saying before, and I've probably said it so many times, you guys are all sick of me saying it, but we don't know, we are all saying that the DD 214 has to be in place to be on the memorials, but we don't know what the parameters were back in the 50s and 60s
Right.
to have your name on the memorials in Orleans. Now, it very well could be that people own property in two different locations, and it was a wink and a nod, if somebody lived off Cape but also had an Orleans residence, that they were allowed to be on the Orleans Stone because the family was from Orleans. Now, I know one example of that is gonna be Munn Cochran. His fathers lived down on the end of Crow's Point, Crow's Road, whatever that is, forever. And of course, that's where Munn Jr. lives, or lived, yeah, still does. But I know that you said that he did not show an Orleans residence. So, but again, I'm going back to what I said at the last meeting, we don't know what the parameters were around, did they have to show a DD 214 back then to be on the memorial, or did they just have to show that you were on the tax rolls and you owned property in Orleans, and had family that lived in Orleans?
And he was right out of college going into the service. So if he was listed in Boston.
So I don't know whether that helps or hurts Brian, but, and I don't know how we, I don't know who we talked to find out. There isn't anybody in the American Legion Post 308 that's still on the rolls.
Yeah, they don't have any records. I
Have
mean, I've
numbers.
asked them. The list of those, if we're talking about the ones where where they specifically were not from Orleans, and it comes up as pretty obvious. I mean, we're not saying they didn't serve, but it comes back as they lived in Eastham, their record was Eastham or Chatham, Barnstable, Bourne. How they got on the Orleans list or the Orleans plaque, obviously we don't know.
Well, if you were born in Orleans, but you moved at the age of 5 and enlisted at 18, you would still want to put them on the memorial, correct? They were
Well-
born in Orleans.
Well,
It's
where
not where they're born, that's where they
enlisted.
were,
So they had to have been living in Orleans at the time they enlisted is what your
that's
parameters
at the
are.
time they went to Vietnam, not the time they enlisted.
So the example you just had, he may have been living off Cape, and so that wouldn't count.
Well, my own family is a good example. My dad was born in Startop over on Barley Neck, lived there, born there, lived in Orleans forever. But after Pearl Harbor, he was working for the Northampton State Hospital. He enlisted in Northampton for the Navy. So he's not in the Orleans Stone, but he was born in Orleans, but he's not an Orleans on the
It's-
memorial.
It's not, has nothing to do with where you enlisted, it's where you were, your home of record at the time you were in, during the campaign.
Wouldn't that have been on the DD 214? Where
That's
you-
supposed to
It
be,
normally
yes.
is. Yeah.
You had, what you're saying is then you had to have been living in Orleans at the time you enlisted.
Or your address.
No, not when you enlisted, when the campaign happened.
So like if
I
the
wonder if
campaign,
So if he went to Vietnam from, what is it, 1964 to 75, during that time, and he was a resident of Orleans at that time, he can be on the memorial.
Well, that's really hard to track down. No wonder
No, it
this is so
isn't, that's what the
complicated.
DD 214 does. If you don't have that DD 214, we're making that decision. And
Wow.
Brian,
Yeah,
Klimchuk is spelled K-L-I-M. I got a name here, where is it? S-H-U-K.
I see it. I mean, that's why I said there's two on the list, and his first name is, I have Dorofei, D-O-R-O-F-E-I.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, as I, all right, so as I go over this list, I mean, if John is saying, you know, if they're not on the list, in other words, I'll give you an example, I mean, some of the ones, I didn't read all the names off, but on this list of 35, it's pretty clear. I mean, you have a guy, I'll just give you an example, Albert F. Robbins. His home record was was Brewster.
Yeah.
I've got a couple others from Chatham. I have one turned out he was from Barnstable, another one's from Bourne.
Mhm.
So I just, just from guidance from you, would you, I mean, again, of these remaining names, so I didn't research to know if they were Vietnam or Korea, so that I still don't know. But if they weren't from Orleans, then I just said, okay, best case, I mean, two options. If you stick to the fact, hey, you're not from Orleans, I can't engrave you on the memorial, my option to you was to say, well, we could put a brick in the park for them, or we know that as these memorials get designed, Tom has said to me, because they're not going in alphabetical order, you can add something later. If something comes up later, you could add them.
I think that's the way we would have to go, even though they're not in alphabetical order. Because there won't be a lot of them.
I wonder if, before I go off, Cecil.
Oh, I'm just.
Oh, okay. I'm wondering if some of these members were part of the American Legion Post 308, and they got on the Orleans Memorial because they were part of Post 308.
Possibly, but that's,
I mean,
being a member of the VFW, American Legion has no bearing on
well,
service.
it doesn't unless you're a member of the Post and, there's a wink and a nod, and
Well, maybe there
I
was
don't
a
know.
wink and a nod.
who knows? I mean, it's hard to say what the like I said, going back, I don't know what they had to present to make a determination that they could be on the Orleans Memorial.
Well, my proposal is to go with the names we've cleared up, and he's cleared up, and the rest do not go on the memorial. If we find out in the future, they'll just have to go on the end.
Okay. Yeah, at first, I was very, very reluctant to remove anybody from the memorials that are already on there, but again, going with what you're thinking, if they're not alphabetical anyway, they possibly can be added down the road, as long as there's room. And I think that we gotta make sure that Tom knows that there is a possibility there could be some additional names at some point in time, if things, if a family member finds out a loved one was removed from the stone, and they can somehow show that they were, they can be added.
How many would have to be removed?
How many do you have that aren't showing Orleans residents, Brian?
That are already there?
At least a dozen.
Let's see, we resolved one. There are 10.
Okay.
But none of those names are already on the old memorial, correct?
No, all 10 are on those old plaques. But but the research showed they weren't from Orleans.
So,
So
okay,
we went from 35 down to 10, I guess.
Okay.
But
Well, that's a tough call.
okay, why don't we do this, Brian? I don't mean to give your committee enough more work, because you've already had enough work as already, but maybe you could forward those 10 names that need to be figured out, and I don't know how I would research it that would be any different than what these guys have
But
done.
Brian, did the historian or the researcher actually have DD 214s on those 10 remaining names?
yes, that's how they were, yes, those were matched up to DD 214s, and their home record was not Orleans, it was these other towns.
And they shouldn't be there.
If you've got proof on the DD 214 that they weren't Orleans, you got pretty solid evidence. Right? I mean, it's not like we have nothing on them and
Unfortunately, they
we're
shouldn't
guessing
be
at
there.
this.
Right,
Yeah.
and I don't know which theater they serve, that we didn't do that.
Yeah, see, that's the other
research.
problem, if you,
Right, we're still, yeah, if you could put those 10 names in an email, and if you could send those to me, and I'll send them to my committee members, and I'm not sure who else I could send them to, but I could try to figure out what branch of service they may have been in based on their age. I mean, that's about, I mean, I knew Kimball Coons was in Vietnam because he graduated high school in '66, or '65.
Well, you
So
gotta
he
go
wasn't
back
gonna
to
be in Korea.
1775 when the army started.
Yeah. And then we could,
You know, I'm also not just saying this from a cost standpoint to engrave names on the monument. I mean, I think we've gone from, well, the good news is we originally had 123, now we've got 240. So
Yeah.
a lot of people have been found.
between the two.
But remember, everyone in that park that's got a brick was not from Orleans,
right,
you know,
Yeah,
so.
that's true, yeah.
yeah.
So I got over 1,000 names of veterans in there, well, plus or minus, that weren't from Orleans either.
Well-
I'm sure they would love to be on the monuments.
Can we, so we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater with these 10 names or 10 plus or minus, have bricks engraved and have those bricks installed right in front of their respective theaters of war? I mean, as a,
If you
If we
knew
can
it's
figure it
war.
out, yeah.
If
We
you
were,
know
I
it's
was gonna
war.
say, the 501 has been talking about, why don't we just get bricks for those names that are being removed?
That's not a
So
bad
there's
idea.
something there, and because there's DD 214s, we can probably put enough together. I'm hoping we got enough to know their, rank and years of service, but I
Well-
don't know.
but Brian, if you have the DD 214 for those 10 non-residents, you should know which service they were in. The DD 214 shows that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I had offered to say, let's put a brick in the park for them. I don't have a problem with that. I mean,
Does it
if
show
that's-
rank, though?
That
They-
satisfies,
Well, not when you enlist or drafted, you
You'd
have,
have to go back
it
and
would
try and
be
find out.
E1, for example, enlisted.
You have to go back and do some research to get the rank they left at and
But
years of
Excuse me, yeah, on the,
service.
it does indicate the rank
Pretty
they
easy to read.
left
Yeah.
service.
They just left.
I think
They
that
left.
idea has a lot of merit. We couldn't prove that you were there, but we're willing to acknowledge
That you were a
with the
veteran.
brick.
You're a veteran.
What do you think?
I mean, it's not a lot of
We
money.
should expedite the meeting.
And if we can figure out, what war they were in, then we can put it in the right spot.
Well, if you, some of those he has DD 214,
Yeah.
I will tell.
Sure.
They might even been in both.
Years of
Both.
service.
They might have been involved in both wars.
That's a possibility.
Right, David Live's career in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, it sounds like we've certainly whittled that list down a bit for you, and hopefully that's somewhat helpful. Come up with names that are the number of names that we need for the block, so you know how much you've got to cover through Tom Blue.
Do you want a motion to the effect that we, I don't know who's gonna purchase them, but bricks for those who don't seem to, their DD 214 doesn't support the fact they were from Orleans when they were in the campaign timeframe, but we're willing to acknowledge them with a brick?
Yeah,
Well, I'll make that motion.
all right, so John Fuller's motion. The motion is for the veterans that don't show Orleans residence, but definitely fought in one of the other, either theater or both, but don't show the Orleans residence, then a laser etched brick is placed in front of the theater of war that they respectively served in. Any discussion? Oh, no, I need a second.
I second.
Andrew Delore, second. Any discussion?
Give it a shot.
All right, I'm hearing no further on the discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye through roll call. John Fuller?
Hi, John Fuller?
Andrew
I,
Delore?
Andrew.
Kevin Higgins? Aye.
Do you need a motion that you're gonna accept the names as we just discussed? That we're kind of done now? Or you're done now? I mean,
I think
would
there's
that be
still,
another thing to discuss? or-
well, I think there's a couple that are still kind of
Okay.
in a vacuum.
2
Or-
or 3.
I think we're ready to go. I think the 10 names are in the back.
Yeah.
I'd like to see
Are you
the list.
referring to, if you want to
Send
approve
me the
the,
list, I'd like to see it one more time.
Yeah. Is it possible, Brian, for you to send us that list again, that's been, that we've just hammered out, that's been kind of identified? So we can just take a look at it again?
sure, you're talking about the 35,
Yeah.
You probably have the list of the 140 and the 93.
Correct. There was the 35 that were kind of in a vacuum. But I know that there's still a couple in there that we don't know which theater they may have been in, or one or both. I don't think we have a hard and fast list yet, though. I mean, it's,
Oh, I do. You started with 35, and we've just whittled that 35 down by several people.
Were there still outstanding names in that? I
No,
thought it
no,
was just
you-
the 10.
You got it down to 10, and we're gonna get bricks for them, knowing they weren't from Orleans.
Yeah, then that's
Yeah.
everybody, right?
I didn't think there was anybody outstanding, but maybe I
Okay.
missed something. I don't,
So did you want to approve the Vietnam and the Korea names that were proven out?
I think so. I mean, I don't see any reason why we can't. I mean, and bottom line is, if, as John mentioned before, if we do find someone that needs to be added, we can have them added. I mean, if we have somebody missing, or if somebody comes forward, or we have some clarification.
and you still have some time before he chisels them all in. I mean,
Right.
there's gotta be at least a couple months.
Well, not
I
that
don't
much
know, but
time.
at least a month
Right.
before you're all done and he puts it on the concrete there.
Brian, do you feel comfortable enough with going forward with the list that you've got? I mean, if we make a motion right now to accept what you've got listed right now in front of you as the last and the best of the information we've got, are you comfortable with that?
I do, I am. I think we can come to the town and say, we researched this, we went to the right place. We're happy we found a lot more veterans, but I think that I would certainly be able to represent to the town that we've done everything we could, and, short of hiring an auditor or something, but I don't think that's possible or doable. But yes, I would present that as, I would ask you to approve that and say we really put our best forward to say we've got the best representation possible for Vietnam and Korea.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay, so moved. The motion is to accept the names that you've got now. We've whittled down from 35 down to, well, everybody. And to move forward for either the Vietnam or Korea War Memorial. Seconded, Andrew?
Seconded.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
Okay. Discussion?
I think we discussed it already.
Oh, we have. I don't know, Andrew sounded like he seemed a little hesitant there.
Past my bedtime.
Okay, clear enough, fair enough.
Thank
All right,
you.
so all those in favor signify by saying aye. John Fuller?
Aye, John Fuller?
Andrew
I,
Lloyd?
Andrew Delory.
And Kevin Higgins, aye. Okay. Next item on the agenda, update the group on the Indigenous Memorial. Tom Blute has got the Indigenous Memorial all done. The colored stones are in. I could certainly send everyone a picture. I just got it this last week. Did you get a picture of it, Brian?
I've seen it, I think it looks so nice.
Yeah, it did come out nice. Did I send everyone an image?
No, I don't
No.
think
I thought
so,
I
no.
did. I'll send it out,
Okay.
but it is exactly as it was shown.
That's
It's
fine.
beautiful.
It is what it is now.
So he's ready to install it, and we can segue into the installation date will go along with the next item on the agenda to update the group on the installation of the laser edge brick. Both of those, the Indigenous Memorial and the laser edge brick, the next block is slated for May 11th, correct, Brian?
Yes, that's what we've penciled in with the Caliban Group and and you and the town to get it in obviously before Memorial Day. And it was asked if Tom could do the Indigenous at the same time, just to have the disruption be during the same time frame. And Tom thought that was fine.
Right. And I've spoken to Gail, and Gail has indicated that they are doing, bear with me while I pull the email up. Was it June 10th? Do you remember seeing that email, Brian?
I'm sorry, for what now?
For the presentation or the unveiling of the Indigenous Memorial.
I had June.
Oh, I don't know that date.
Oh.
I just knew when Tom wanted to
What did you
install
know?
it.
June 20th, I
June
thought.
20th?
I
Okay.
thought she said June 20th.
Hold on, I've got it right here. Saturday, June 20th at 12:30.
Right.
So on June 20th, which is 2 weeks after the June 6th presentation that you would like, the 501c3 would like to do, the Indigenous marker will have a presentation on that day. Tom Blute will be there, members of the Wampanoag tribe, the singers and dancers, they're going to be at the farmer's market, but they're going to come down to the Veterans Park for the unveiling of the Indigenous marker. That'll be the first marker in the park, which, other than the World War I monument that was redone. So that'll be the first object, the first memorial in there.
Does that make Indigenous Peoples' Day sort of a moot point?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that being in October, but with them, there's a high holiday that's coming down through the Wampanoags on June 20th, and it's part of the Clean Water.
Just do it then.
Yeah.
What time was that?
The email that I got said 12:30 on June 20th. That may be a moving target. It could be later. The 12:30 may have been down at the farmer's market, and then they're gonna go from there down, so I don't know, it might be 2 o'clock. But once we've got information on that, and I can forward the group and bring it up at the next meeting, because we'll probably have a couple of meetings before that date anyway. But that's slated to go in. Brian, how many bricks are now slated to go in?
Okay, there are 300 bricks are being shipped as we speak, and these are our orders that came in from going back to October through now, which, as we got to the grand opening and the landscaping went in, the town held off putting any more in. In the warehouse, I think there's another 50, so this will be, about 350 bricks going in, and they're gonna work from the World War II monument outward to less disruption, keep the bricks together.
Is the plan to allow some of the ones from Vietnam that have requested to go into Vietnam, are they gonna put those in there, or? Because I know that there were 2 bricks that were broken that's in Vietnam that need to be replaced.
Yes, this order includes that. So things that were damaged or chipped, or someone had a spelling error or something, I reordered them. And so,
Okay.
yes, we'll find those.
Okay.
We will find those and put them in the right spot.
Okay.
Just curious, how many bricks have you sold?
A lot.
How,
Over 1,400, I think. I mean, it was over 1,000 when the park went in, and now there's 350.
There's
And
probably
they're
about
still
1,200,
coming
1,300.
in.
Yeah, I thought there was 1,000 that went in.
Yeah, this will push it to about 1,400.
Yeah,
And what's the capacity?
around 5.
6,000?
Well,
just-
it depends on how many 8x8s, right? So I think there were around 5,000 4x8s.
There's a,
But, so an 8x8, so,
yeah, I think I heard the number through Russ was, if they were all 4x8s, the number was upward between 5,500 and 6,000
Yeah,
bricks,
yeah.
something like that, but an 8x8 obviously would change those numbers. Is that the number you heard, Brian?
yeah, the World War II circle is
Yeah.
larger than you think, but,
Ventriloquist?
yeah, I think it's like 4,000 or 5,000, so.
We got a ways to go to fill the
Yeah.
World War
Hopefully-
II circle.
I know a lot of people have come to me and said, am I too late in getting it? Oh, no.
Yeah,
There's
I know.
plenty of
No,
time.
Yeah.
I get those calls.
Okay, all right, so that, any more discussion on the installation of laser edge brick? Has Ryan Bray spoken to you, Brian, about wanting to be there for a photo op for the indigenous and also for the laser edge brick? The additional brick?
We didn't talk about that specifically, but I'll reach out to him, tell him that we're gonna be doing this.
Okay, I'll let you do that because that's part of the fundraising effort. But obviously, if he's got any questions or anything, he can always direct it to our committee as well, so.
That's what this is,
Okay.
right?
Any other discussion? Okay. Marty, didn't you say you had to be out by 7?
Yeah, he's gonna get in trouble.
Okay.
I want to go to the next thing anyways.
All right, so the next item on the agenda, real quick, we should be able to get through this real quick. It's the update the group on the Memorial Day service. Just so the group knows, and I know I haven't reached out to you folks a lot because we've been dealing with this other stuff, so I figured I'd just kind of continue to march if there's anything changed. We're gonna do, as we've done before, we're gonna start the service down at 10 o'clock at Town Cove. We'll do a wreath laying, I'm sorry.
We don't do Town Cove for Veterans Day.
This is
Right.
Memorial.
Memorial Day.
You're right,
Oh,
we
Memorial
don't.
Day, I'm sorry.
Right.
You're right, we don't.
You didn't remember, John.
No, I didn't remember.
So we're gonna
I
do
didn't wanna
the,
walk.
it's past your bedtime too.
Yeah.
So we'll start down at Town Cove, we'll do a wreath laying. We'll start off with, we'll start off with an opening prayer, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, whoever we end up choosing at the last minute for a wreath laying. We'll have taps played. We'll have the fife and drums. The prayer will be done by Patrick Ward from the Church of the Holy Spirit. We'll march from there up to the park. There we will do the national anthem, prayer again by Patrick Ward. I have reached out to Senior Chief Jeff Smith, if he would like to be our
Master Chief.
Master Chief Jeff Smith to be our keynote speaker. And not to make any moves without the committee's approval, but I felt as though it was important to have someone that was very important to the town be our first keynote speaker at our brand-new park, and I thought Jeff would be an ideal
He's
person
fine.
for it.
POW table.
POW table, we'll have the Nassau Regional Middle School, and then into this, Andrew has asked a special request.
Well, suggested, but, yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, I suggested to Kevin recently that I and my wife, who sings beautiful harmony, could sing and play Amazing Grace with perhaps some of the Nauset chorus, to sing the chorus, and maybe 2 or 3 verses, kind of an abbreviated version of Amazing Grace. If we've,
Certainly.
agree that it's acceptable.
I don't think.
Yeah,
Yeah, the only thing I could see is, we're just gonna have to, not that it's not an insurmountable request, but we'll just have to ask Steve if he can have a separate microphone and everything set up to wherever.
yeah, I have my own amp with voice and instrument inputs. I could provide that, or at least maybe beforehand.
Yeah, why don't we, as we get a little bit closer to Memorial Day, reach out to Steve and maybe make sure that everything,
Yeah,
everything works together?
One thing is Steve's gonna need some help setting up.
Yeah.
He broke his arm and he can't do it now.
Uh-oh.
okay, well, I can volunteer to help him, and then we
Well,
could.
he's always got that other gentleman too, the Coast Guardsman that.
Yeah,
I said about.
is it Wayne
But
Richardson?
he said he would need help because
Okay.
he can't
Okay.
lift anything.
And by the way, you do see Steve every once in a while, correct?
Yeah, like 3 times a week.
Okay, could you please, I
Yeah.
stopped into Homeport thinking I was gonna catch up with him. I'd like to give him this, finally.
Oh, right.
Okay, I'll take care of that.
But, yeah, I was gonna reach out to him and make sure that he was all set, and if he needed to, check anything in regards to the park, in regard, to the sound system or
Mhm.
pulling cables, et cetera. Cause this is the first time there, so this is gonna be a little bit of a learning curve,
Right.
making sure
I'm
everything
happy
works.
to help.
It'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll be fine, I don't wanna assume anything, but,
No matter what goes wrong, it'll be fine.
you know, I know.
So we do agree that Amazing Grace is an appropriate.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yeah, and I thought if, another nice addition, if to have the bagpiper, what's the status on the bagpiper?
Well, I haven't asked any bagpipers yet. I mean, I wanted the committee to approve this whole thing, and I can make a call to the bagpiper, but usually,
Yeah,
I don't know, bagpipers usually have chorus with them.
well, it would be, it's called an instrumental break,
Yeah. Let
Anyway,
me,
I'm thinking,
bagpipers are hard to find, but
oh, fine, well, it's very optional.
We have that young man that did help us years
Yeah,
ago, but
right.
he was off Cape.
I see,
Well-
yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, you set up the itinerary for the thing and we'll go with it.
Yeah.
Okay,
And,
good. I'll just need Steve's contact from someone.
Yeah,
I'll tickle you.
I'll see if he's still available.
Tickle you later.
So we'll have the POW, we'll have the music, Andrew, and,
It'll be maybe 3 to 5 minutes. It's,
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
5 max.
as everyone knows, I try to stay right around the 50-minute to 1 hour mark, because that is about the limit some of the older folk can stand.
We got benches.
Yeah,
We got
that's right,
benches.
we have benches now, so,
Yeah,
perfect.
And you've got a podium.
and it shouldn't,
And we have a podium.
and it shouldn't be cold. But
I
you
hope
never-
not.
Yeah.
Because I have to decide which uniform I'm gonna wear.
And then we'll have Nassau Regional Middle School do God Bless America, and then we'll do taps. I personally, I don't mean to make any moves without the committee's approval, but I like double taps.
Whatever they can do.
That's cool,
They like to do that.
That's
And
fun.
then-
right.
And then we'll have the closing benediction by Patrick Ward, and then that'll be it. We'll have, the detail officers will have the entire area surrounding shut down, so we shouldn't have any sound issues. And that is, that's what I've got so far in regards to Memorial Day service.
Great.
Any other discussion?
Not for that.
Brian?
I have a quick one, just, not to be too, this won't be too far off topic, but just a park punch list kind of thing. Perhaps as we get into May and we start to put in the bricks of the indigenous, we can meet just to make sure that the electricity, the sound is all, working relative to whatever punch list there was. One other thing that I know we said we were gonna try to do is evaluate the landscaping and the plants and see what hopefully can, survive the winter, or whatever we can do to kind of spruce the landscaping before this event too.
They
So that-
cleaned it all up and mowed the lawn. It looks great.
Yeah, they did a really nice job out there.
Yeah. And he picked up all the sticks.
They got everything all cleaned up out there. I did have, you reminded me, Brian, I do have the punch list item. I think the only thing that was a little bit troubling, I guess, was that one of the breakers in the park keeps tripping. And unfortunately, it tripped, it was the one that was on the flagpole. Of all the terminals or all the outlets that had to fail, it had to be that
Right.
one with the light. So I did talk to Calvin. Calvin's having the electric company, Ricard, come down. They're gonna double check that plug and make sure it's okay. If it's not working correctly, they're gonna swap it out. And the pole boxes are all set. They're double checking the stormwater grates, and they're gonna be removing all the erosion control from the catch basins which surround Academy Place. They still have to chamfer the seating edge to make sure there isn't any sharp edges.
Yeah.
So that should be all set, but yeah, we'll double check that electrical system for sound and everything, and make sure everything is working okay.
Yeah, great.
And the last item, I know everybody's itching to get going, but I want everyone to know what is on the agenda for the 501c3. Brian, can you, and/or Katie, and/or Marty, fill us in on the upcoming dates? I know we have the rededication on June 6th for the World War II monument.
Yeah, thus far, well, I just resolved something with the town. They wanted, because we had arranged for some music, they asked for an entertainment permit and some insurance. I think I was able to arrive at that with the person who's gonna perform. But it was a request I just wasn't expecting, but nevertheless, I don't know if that's a new town thing where they were asking for more insurance or more permits, because we hadn't dealt with that before. But yeah, but June 6th was the day we were just gonna, because we're putting in the bricks, we've got the indigenous in there, the weather's nice, kids are still in school, we just wanted to use June 6th as D-Day, knowing that we missed it during construction, but it was the 75th anniversary of the dedication of that World War II monument. I know we power washed it, cleaned it up, and I just thought it'd be nice to have, call it a family open house event, find your brick. We were thinking of doing some fun things like a little scavenger hunt or something. We've got a ice cream cafe is gonna come with their truck. But in terms of like a dedication or rededication, I was looking for some ideas. I mean, obviously there's so many families that have, that are part of that memorial or the bricks they put in, that there'd just be some nice way to just recognize that it was this, obviously it's D-Day as well. That somehow there'd be some recognition for the centerpiece of the park on that day. We thought it would be, a nice thing to do. So whatever ideas you have to be part of that or embellish that, that'd be great.
Okay.
And we were thinking, I think, noon to 2, nothing overly long, because we'll have our event that night also.
Okay. And that's at La Bella Vita?
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm
Tap
sorry.
House. It's
Town
Tap House.
Cove.
At the Cove, Tap House at the Cove, at
Snow.
Snow.
Right, Town Cove, Tap Cove.
We'll keep you updated on that one.
Okay, yeah, just keep us up to speed on that. All right, so the next, anything more on any upcoming stuff from the
I'd
501c3?
just like to mention one thing. I've observed there's a trio of bicyclers, teenage bicyclers, and they were riding their bicycles in the park,
I was afraid of that.
and I think we need to probably mention to the police department to take a look at that, because I'm afraid they're gonna do, slam on the brakes and mark up the walkways and stuff.
Okay, I can take care of that.
Mhm.
I know a couple guys. Okay.
Do I make my request for a bike rack and a dog relief station here?
Maybe you don't want to mention the bike rack yet. We don't want to encourage a break coming in there and riding around yet. Give it some time. Okay, so anything further?
Nope.
All right. Set the agenda. I'm going to set the next date will be the day after Memorial Day, the
26.
the 26th.
Of May,
Of May. And I am going to, the idea is to have Tom Blute come in for that date. And hopefully prior to that, we can meet as a committee and have a talk with him about some ideas. So when he comes in on the 26th, we've got some ideas moving forward, as well as that bronze plate. Unless we pick, and I've got to talk to Kelly about possibly creating 2 meetings a month. If we were to do that, the next meeting would be May 12th. It's the day after town meeting, but let me talk to Kelly and see what
why
we've got
don't
for
we
dates.
start that in June?
Okay. Yeah, we can do
Well,
that.
actually, you should do it in July when you've got your new committee.
Yeah. That's probably
Kevin,
a good idea. Yes,
is
sir.
there any chance you could put on the agenda discussion of a vendor for the Vietnam Memorial?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well,
Let me just try to summarize that I suggested that since I have the vendors that I had started to line up, Site One and Cornerstone Cape Cod, neither can act as general contractor. So they confirmed that recently. So my suggestion is we go forward with Tom. Russ Kleekamp, among others, has made some structural suggestions, maybe to improve, and also suggesting a type of granite. But I think, Kevin, is it correct that perhaps you and I and Russ Kleekamp can meet with Tom to give him a preview of what we have, new information for him to respond to?
Well,
So-
that's very positive, that's great.
I received a call yesterday from Tom. This whole thing is very fluid. As Cecil has noted, once a month is kind of tough to cover everything. I just had a conversation with Tom yesterday. He took a piece of black granite and I forgot what the word is, he burnished it, he scuffed it, he ran something over it, and it turned into a light, not a light gray like bar granite, but not black.
Yep.
And when you etch it, the letters come out black, but the fascia is a light gray. So he's going to bring an example of that to our next meeting, so we've got some ideas. So,
I just think he's the only guy that has shown integrity, quality, I mean,
Well-
he cares about it, he can do it from end to end, he knows the business, and again, picking the vendor doesn't mean you're picking the design. Picking
Well,
a
no,
vendor
we-
means you're
we-
having somebody who's gonna help
want to
you
explore
do
that.
what you wanna do and do it correctly.
Right, we want to explore the design options.
I personally didn't like his design, you
No,
know,
I
but
did a
that
straw-
doesn't mean he can't
No,
do what we ultimately wanna
right.
do.
I did a straw poll of Vietnam veterans, showing Tom's, which is posted on 501c
Yeah.
website, and the Dan Joy concept. And the vote was unanimous that the Dan Joy concept was favored. So, but maybe there's some middle ground.
Well-
My mission is to find some common ground with Tom, because it seems to be the most practical and to expedite going forward with the
Yeah,
Vietnam.
I don't think, you know, you don't have to do what he wants to do.
Well,
right?
I agree. I'm not,
But you do
wild
have to
about-
use his knowledge to make sure you don't build something that's gonna fall apart, or, you know, that's of quality, right?
Yeah, of course, and that's, Russ Kleekamp had some good idea, who's the
So,
engineer.
Okay, I'm
Has
glad
some
to hear
good-
that,
yeah.
because things aren't getting cheaper, and, you know, takes a long time, and, you know, we
Yeah.
want this thing in, at this point, you wouldn't even have it by 4th of July, but when you know, do your Veterans Day ceremony, it'd be really nice to have another
True,
monument up,
but I think-
another memorial.
So one last item before, because I know you're itching to do a motion to,
I'm not itching for anything.
I'm itching.
He's
the,
itching.
the sign that is going, I mention this earlier? Tom has mentioned that he can create this sign going into the park, which was actually part of the original design, very first, actually one of the very first ones we ever did.
May I suggest we have maybe Dan Joy give us a few options on
Well, I think this is just gonna be lettering.
Oh, well, it looks like it's, structure is
park? Yeah.
indicated.
Well, because he's using existing block, he's using the World War I
Yeah.
block that's left over. So what
Yeah.
what he has suggested is a granite block in the middle, and then he's gonna
Yeah.
create the same type of support system that's on the World War I monument. It's kind of a bracketing, it's on either side, and it's elevated off the ground, so, you know, the grass.
With respect, I think we need to consider different options for the important entrance monument.
Boy, I don't wanna kick that can down the road anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, we weren't, not gonna do anything tonight
No,
on
I
it,
know,
so.
I know, but-
We can have Dan Joy come in on the next meeting.
But what I wanted to bring to the committee was, this park is not our park. This is the town's park.
Sure.
So if we are putting signs up in the town's park, we have to have the select board say, yes, you can put a sign up in our park. And also, where the funding comes from. Can the town assist us with funding? Can, if we
Right, good
provide
point.
the block, can the town provide some of the cost deferral in regards to etching? You know, I'm hoping, or are they gonna make me go before the building department and ask for a sign permit?
I'm
So,
sure they're gonna do that.
well, again, I'm not assuming anything at this point. But what I wanted to let the committee know was, knowing that this is something going on, and knowing that our meetings are 1 month apart, and I didn't want this can get kicked down the road any more than it was, I've put myself on the agenda for tomorrow night's select board meeting for their input as to what may be going into the park. Well, and we'll have to present them with a design design down the road.
Yeah.
But just so the committee knows that I'll be going before the select board tomorrow night, just to ask them a few questions.
Well, good. May I suggest that we're still considering options for to finalize the design?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, with respect, I'm not in favor of recycling old stone. I think we should start from scratch and make maybe a more elegant
I am when the
entrance.
stone is $60,000.
Yeah.
Well, I disagree with you on that one.
I know, I think it's
This-
kinda nice to reuse it.
Well,
Reuse,
we got,
repurpose.
it's a block on 2 blocks. I mean, to me, it's really unexciting, unremarkable.
It's a sign.
I know. Maybe,
How
Okay,
exciting do
it's
you
not
want
a sign,
to
it's a
be?
monument in stone, engraved. It's more than a sign with
okay.
respect,
We'll
Kevin.
discuss, we should discuss it at the next meeting.
Okay,
He just needs to get the particulars, can we do it?
all right,
Right,
sure. Thank you, Kevin.
yep. Okay. Motion
So
to,
moved.
motion
To
to,
adjourn.
Thank you for.
motion to adjourn at 7:30. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and-
And Andrew.